Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the April 2022 meeting of the Fairfax County Economic Development Authority Commission. I'm Alan Fogg, Vice President for Marketing Communications here at the EDA, and I am your moderator for this meeting tonight. My colleague, Katie Smith, has control over the audio functions of this Zoom call and will control the PowerPoint slides that will be used during the meeting. I would like all those on this call to please mute themselves. Now I would like to welcome members of the commission to the meeting. We have Vice Chair James Quigley, Secretary Ron Johnson, Treasurer Stephen Partridge, and members Lenny Hainsworth, Pallavi Sabu, Joe Vitalich, and Rick Wagner. Executive Vice President Alex Imes is on the call, as are our EDA counsel, a number of EDA staff members, consultants who represent the EDA in offices overseas and in California, and our marketing communications consultants. I would also like to welcome Fairfax County officials who joined us for the meeting tonight. Presenting from the EDA tonight will be Vice Chair Quigley, Executive Vice President Imes, Director of Talent Initiatives Mike Batt, and me, Alan Fogg. This meeting is being recorded. Members of the EDA Commission who have questions will have the opportunity to ask them as they normally would during meetings. If anyone from the public has questions, please select the chat function at the bottom of the Zoom screen to ask a question, or email Cheryl Martelli of the FCEDA at cmartelli@fceda.org. We will not answer any questions from the public during the meeting, but we will respond to all questions in writing afterwards. With that, I ask Vice Chair James Quigley to begin the agenda. James?
Thanks, Alan. And I also wanted to open up by thanking Alan. So apropos that you're helping to run tonight's meeting. And thank you for your many years of service, Alan. Those of you know, this is Alan's last board meeting, and after so many years of faithful and amazing service to the EDA, what a great way to send you out, Alan. Thank you so much for your not only many years of service, but as we discussed earlier, just the amazing impact you've had for not just even Fairfax, but for the region as a whole. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our April meeting. Our chair is taking a much-deserved vacation. I think this first vacation she may have taken since COVID. So I've been given the helm. We have a very short meeting planned for this evening for a number of reasons, not the least of which a speaker perspective and a change of staff and making sure that we're collecting some important topics for another future board meeting. So thanks, everyone. So the first step, we're going to ask for approval for the minutes of the last meeting, the March 2022 meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 2022 meeting?
Motion.
And I'm wondering, do we have legal counsel? Otherwise, do we maybe, Dr. Johnson, do we, if we don't, do you want to take the roll and the call if we don't have legal? Oh, I think we do have Ann. Ann, are you on, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope you all can hear me. I was having a little trouble with my audio earlier today.
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear you. But maybe we can just go around the horn and just, if you want to go around the horn and take the vote on the meeting minutes.
Okay. So Commissioner Johnson.
Aye.
Commissioner Partridge.
Aye.
Commissioner Hainsworth.
Let's see, I think I need to abstain as I wasn't there on the 14th of March.
Commissioner Mitchell. Commissioner Sabu.
Yes, aye.
Commissioner Fidelich,
For similar reasons as Ms. Hainsworth, I'm going to also abstain from the meeting, from the minutes.
Commissioner Wagner,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Quigley.
Aye. Awesome. Okay. Okay, Treasurer Partridge, we're going to have you go through our expenditures and financial report.
Sure.
I'll
Thank
turn
you,
it over
Mr.
to
Chair.
you.
Great. Well, as you saw from your board packets, we just ended the third quarter, so we've got one quarter left, and we're basically at the 75% spend rate, and we're 66% of the budget has been expended to date. So we're trending a little below where we should be. Salary expenses are a little higher. They're at 69%, where operating is 63%. As you remember, a few months ago, I gave a little update on where some of those expenses will probably start to occur in fourth quarter is the marketing budget. If you look at the detail, there's still about $500,000 in there. So I think Alan's final job will be to spin that down in the next couple days to get that off the books. So I think we're exactly where we want to be for this time of the year. There is one thing I wanted to bring to your attention: the industrial revenue bonds sheet on your packet. You'll notice if you pay attention, this number from month to month is doubled since last month. It's not that new monies came in, it's just it didn't get recorded properly. So the money has always been there since it was deposited, but it did not show up on the board packet. And Donna told me they've changed their process to make sure that that would never happen again. So I trust the staff, they'll get that corrected. And that's about the end of my report. Are there any questions from the commissioners about what I've shared?
Awesome. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
I'm going to go through the chair's report now, and just have a few topics to cover. One is that our May meeting, we're going to be hosting Dave Millard. If you don't know Dave, Dave is a leader in the Northern Virginia commercial real estate industry. He's going to provide us with a county and regional perspective on what is happening on office leasing and return to office strategies as the pandemic subsides. We've clearly, over the last 2 years, heard from a number of real estate experts. We've stayed very close to this. As you can imagine, our region still relies very heavily on the tax revenue associated with real estate. For office real estate. And so we're trying to keep a pulse on it. I know there's been some questions on why so many real estate people, but this is a way for us to really understand how much of a long-term shift is this change in work going to have to our real estate market, and thus the tax revenue that the county relies on. In June, we're going to have Jennifer Ives with us to close out the fiscal year. She'll be our last speaker of the fiscal year. She's a senior vice president of 3 Pillar Global, a software development firm based in Fairfax and one of the largest third-party software development shops in our region and throughout the country, actually. We look forward to hearing her overview on not only her journey and 3 Pillars journey and leadership lessons, and the challenges in growing a fast-growing software development shop in our region, as well as Jennifer is extremely well-known for advocating for women in technology. Regionally, very well-known, and actually just came out with a book on this topic. Jennifer also has a very secondary sort of offshoot to our interest for our group, in that she was very involved in the Arlington EDA for many years. And I think actually several team members would who worked with Arlington remember her from the Arlington board when she was involved in the Arlington EDA. I am also going to just provide a call out. We had an amazing set of speakers. Many of those speakers, though, didn't just come to us, and it wasn't just a matter of the staff to getting them. Probably half of our speakers last year came from connections from our board. And I'm going to ask that we haven't stacked up a lot of speakers for next year. And if you've got speakers that you think would be of interest for us to hear from, please pass those on to Kathy and myself and Victor. We're specifically looking for representatives from several companies too. We last year didn't have anyone from Google. We were missing a few organizations like that. So we are looking for some large organizations, so smaller and innovative organizations that are growing here too. But if you've got an organization and a contact that you think would be of interest for us, please pass that along to us. We usually vet and have a lot of conversation behind the scenes on speakers, but that's how we put together such an excellent set of speakers last year. So please send those along. A couple other items to comment on. Tomorrow, there's budget testimony from the county. The chair recorded a message for the county, and Commissioner Wagner has agreed to show up in person. We'll be testifying in person. And I appreciate, Rick, you doing that. We typically have been the presentation right after the school, Fairfax County Public Schools. It's usually a position of honor, and Alan's actually helped set those up. And I know the staff has actually done a really good job making sure it is a sort of a custom for us to be able to, during the budget season, for us to be able to tell our story so that our budget becomes approved. So thank you again, Commissioner Wagner, for doing update on the strategic planning follow-up. So on placemaking, as you guys know, we've sort of broken apart two topics that we wanted to dig in deeper and provide some feedback and some recommendations on how we could help, whether it's just information or recommendations, or that we'd actually maybe do the horsepower of getting behind some of these topics. Two topics in particular that we sort of gathered. One is on placemaking, and Alex Imes is working with Commissioner Sabu and Vitalich on looking at the topic of creating, looking at Fairfax and Northern Virginia from a placemaking perspective. And we're merging together talent, supply, and demand. And I'm going to be actually, Stephen, now that I'm back from Australia, I'm supposed to reach out to you and for you and I to hook up and make sure that we've got alignment about how we're thinking about both the supply and demand side of the curve. Make sure there's no duplication of effort, and that the focus will be on scaling internships and apprenticeships initiatives and defining an appropriate role for the EDA and all of that. Again, we don't have to always do the work, but certainly whether it's the county or maybe passing on some of the great feedback we had from these companies that worked with us during our strategic offsite, we want to make sure that that information gets out there so that we're helping the region put together some of these programs, even if it's not funded, or that we're doing the work behind all of these things. Let's see. That is those are the main topics from my report. I'm going to turn it over to our Executive Vice President, Imes, to make the President reports on behalf of Victor.
Thank you, Vice Chair Quigley, and good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I am going to speak to you about some of the events that we either represented the FCEDA or helped to support over the past month. If you could go to the next slide, please. Starting with the 2022 Fairfax County Housing Symposium, Victor moderated a panel that featured Chairman McKay, Catherine Buell, who is leading Amazon's $2 billion affordable housing initiative, and Susan Dewey, who's the CEO of Housing Virginia. And at that event, they talked about housing as a tool to foster equitable economic development and recovery. Next, please. Victor and Mike Batt attended the opening of the Lee District Community Center Workforce Innovation Skills Hub, which is a new facility in the South County to help support career training for the South County community from trades to tech. Next. Work-based learning was a session that was conducted with the Economic Advisory Commission. And again, Victor and Mike teamed up for this one to talk about issues related to things like internships and apprenticeships, as James was just mentioning. And Victor talked about what he'd learned from businesses around these kinds of programs. And Mike talked to them about our talent initiative. Next, please. The DMV Regional Congress, Victor had the opportunity to interview the governor of Virginia on his thoughts about the economy here in Northern Virginia and how to work together on growing industry and innovation and working with his counterparts in Maryland and DC. So it's very exciting to have him there and get his support behind what we're doing regionally with Connected DMV and the Regional Economic Development Strategy. Next, please. University of Virginia, there was discussion. Victor met with them about their expansion in Northern Virginia. They currently have a campus in Roslyn, and they are expanding their programming in Northern Virginia around career-based type graduate programs, including engineering, applied science, and data science. Next, please. I mentioned Connected DMV, where Victor and I attended with the other leaders of the economic development organizations and industry and academia around the region, and talked about our own return to office plans, how the jobs recovery is going in each one of our communities, and then talked about our joint collaboration on marketing for the region. Next, please. ULI held a case study and tour at Capital One Center. Victor was on the program here, providing the closing remarks about suburban placemaking, and he got to talk about all the wonderful things happening in Tyson's and the progress to date at the Capital One Center and all of the features that are part of that project. Next, please. The Washington Airport's task force honored Bob Buchanan with the Williams Trophy, which is one of their highest awards that they can confer on a member of the group. And Bob was honored for his support of transportation in this region and the growth of Dulles Airport. And he actually called out Victor for his leadership on regionalism during his remarks accepting the trophy. Next, please. So as Vice Chair Quigley mentioned, the budget hearings are coming up tomorrow, and Chairman Lang has provided the video submission, and Commissioner Wagner will provide the in-person testimony on business investment, and Chairman Lang's remarks will cover collaboration. Next. I made 2 presentations last week to the bond rating agencies from S&P and Moody's to help support NVTC with their bond sale for facilities that are part of VRE. And these presentations, I covered the state of the Northern Virginia economy, specifically the strength of the Northern Virginia economy relative to the state and the nation. Next, please. And I attended the groundbreaking for the digital innovation and development at Mason Square, which is the building they're calling Fuse. And this is one of the facilities being delivered in the wake of Amazon HQ2. It's been about 3 years in the works, and it's very exciting to be there and see them get this off the ground. This will start and continue the flow of computer science graduates who can help support hiring at our companies in Northern Virginia. President Washington was there and was very excited to see this happening, and especially the day before the 50th anniversary of George Mason University. Next. And now I am going to give the floor to Mike Batt for an update on the talent initiative. Mike.
Thanks, Alex. I'll just share a few quick updates. The talent site's performing really well. DCI, we've been working very closely with DCI, and they've done a great job adjusting some of the search criteria. So we're averaging now over 50,000 views per month on the talent site, which is great. And adjusting the job view search criteria, we've just now in March had our best jobs view search from our top 10 cities around the country in the month of March, which is great. And another thing that another really exciting stat is about 42% of those of those 50K per month hits that we're getting right now are from our top 10 markets as we try to recruit more talent to the region to fill those gaps that we have. And then moving on to the Veteran and Military Spouse Career Fair that we're having May 11th and 12th. We're on track to have about 50 companies participate both in person on May 11th at the U.S. Army Museum and May 12th virtually. And those 50 companies have close to 10,000 job openings. We're targeting about 700 job seekers. I think one new note of interest for you is that that Supervisor Stork is going to attend and present a proclamation for Military Spouse Appreciation Week at the career fair. And he's going to be doing that with Chairman McKay and Supervisor Lusk, along with the base commander, Colonel Seagraves. We're working really well with our partners at Department of Economic Initiatives at the county and collaborating here. So we're excited to integrate them into the event next month. So that's going to be what I have to share for this evening. Thanks for the opportunity. We'll go to the next slide. I think I'll get back to you.
I think it's going to Alan.
All right.
Mr. Fogg.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
On marketing communication.
Yes, I do. I have a really exciting presentation for you, and it's all about our annual report for 2021. Before I make a few remarks on it, though, I want to show it to you. So, Katie, if you could play the video, and I'll have a couple of thoughts about it afterwards.
What word would I use to describe our work or our successes in 2021?
Well, for me, the word would have to be team.
Impactful.
Positive disruption.
Relentless. We actually experienced a bounce back. Our unemployment rate went from the mid-teens down to 2.3% in Fairfax County, and that happened all over Northern Virginia. My name is Victor Hoskins, and I am the President and CEO of Fairfax County Economic Development Authority. What are the accomplishments of the business investment teams in terms of the businesses that we help stay here, that we help grow here, that we help come here?
This calendar year, we worked with 146 companies that converted to announcements, which created 9,000 jobs.
That would have been a great year, even in a great year, let alone one where you were dealing with COVID.
We had 3 corporate headquarters announced, mid-sized companies, but also many young entrepreneurs in those numbers as well.
If you look at every one of those organizations, they were all looking for innovation.
And so when COVID hit, we could not do what we've always done. We figured out another way to market to these companies. We did webinars, we did different Zoom calls and different types of outreach. And so we were successful in coming up with new strategies. The small companies, the minority-owned firms were the most vulnerable companies during COVID times. We helped 582 companies with our SCORE counselors that share their wisdom and their experience with entrepreneurs. This is the type of capacity the Economic Development Authority has. We think of an idea, we understand what the businesses need, and we make it happen.
What was the impact of the Talent Initiative in 2021?
We had 4 career fairs that we managed ourselves, and those 4 career fairs had almost 130 companies. They had about 500 recruiters trying to fill 10,000 jobs, and we had 5,000 job seekers that came to that event that were chatting with those recruiters.
We did 29 career fairs where we participated with colleges and universities around the country. We did not do that in 2020, so we really took it to another level.
We're working with the engineering schools and the historically black colleges and universities from around the country.
We went from working with about 13 universities to working with 100 universities, 40 of them historically black colleges. The first year we only had 7 historically black colleges, so we hit a much more diverse pool. How do I feel collaboration with Fairfax County partners changed in 2021? I would say that it grew to a more mature level.
The Economic Recovery Framework set the stage for programs to assist businesses getting through really the end of the pandemic and still some difficult times where funding was still needed.
The county got grants out to more than 1,000 businesses.
$16 million in funding through the Pivot program.
And by the way, the majority of those businesses being women and minority and veteran-owned businesses. And one of the things that we've done that has actually built that brand along with not just Fairfax, but with all of us in Northern Virginia, the Northern Virginia Economic Development Alliance, I think we did, number one, an extraordinary job. I just look at the numbers of the amount of traffic we have on our website, 450,000 hits, the number of people that attended our events, 18,000, the amount of earned media, 35 million. Those numbers tell the story. It is a solid, positive story.
Alan, you certainly got enough of that, got great actors put on that. That was just absolutely phenomenal.
Well, thank you, Joe. I love that video, and I hope you love it as much as I do. I think it's such a great, tells such a great story about really an unusual and very productive year. And I just want to say a few things about it. As you can tell, it's a result of a tremendous amount of collaboration, just like the collaboration that we do in and out and that Victor has emphasized so much since he arrived. We have the business investment, market intelligence, communications, and special events teams all providing the data that we used for the interviews and in the graphics. You saw the interviews that we did. Andrew T set up those interviews and shot them. I interviewed them, the people. We combined those interviews with great drone footage. And I want you to notice that the drone footage came from Macerich. That was the footage in Tyson's. The footage in Reston came from Comstock. We had the great on the ground footage of Maple Avenue in Vienna came from Visit Fairfax, and so did the Workhouse Art Center footage in Lorton. And then Andrew shot the footage at a talent event at South Lakes High School. So, and then after all of that, DCI put together all the graphics, all the video, and made it look just as perfect as it does. We sent it to the Board of Supervisors last week, and we will post it on the EDA website tomorrow and on our YouTube page tomorrow. So we had a great story to tell, and I think the video really shows it very well. I'm very excited about it, and I hope everybody else is too.
Awesome job. And by the way, I'm sure the team, Catherine would probably know, or maybe yourself, Alan, 9,000 jobs in a good year would have been a good number. Like, I don't think we did 9,000 jobs for the first 2-3 years I was on the board. I know our record, we had it's close to one of our records though, isn't it? I mean, it's got to be one of our best years, at least in the last decade, of number of jobs. Am I wrong on that?
I don't think you're wrong. I have to say, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I just like the way Victor put it. It would have been a great year, even a great year.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Yeah, it certainly was. And getting the unemployment rate from as disastrous as it was down to 2.3, which would be extraordinary at any time for us, it is amazing. I know we were all panicked at the height of it, but it's done such a great job, and it speaks a lot to our region being one of the most resilient economically in the country, and that people are still need and want to work here for so many different reasons. Thank you so much.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I just was so thrilled to be able to do that and to wrap things up for me with this as well. So if I may take just a minute, James, and this is it. My second day on the job back in 1999 was a commission meeting. And so my second to the last day here in 2022 is a commission meeting. So I like the bookends of this. I want to thank you and all of the commission for everything that you have done for me over the time of my time here, and everything you've done to help us build the marketing communications effort and everything at the EDA, helping us build awareness of what happens here, help us build our brand. Without your support, we couldn't do this. And I really, really, really appreciate it. And you've all helped me personally in various ways too. over the years, and I'm just tremendously thankful for the opportunity that I've had here to make even a small contribution to help Fairfax County do what it should be known for. Such a great place to live and to work. My successor is on the call, Anna Nissanen. She comes to us from the Fairfax County Department of Transportation, and I'm very pleased to have had the opportunity to work with her for the last couple of weeks. She's coming in with a lot of energy, a lot of great ideas to build what we've already got and make it soar even higher. So I'm thrilled to be able to have Anna here with us tonight. I don't know, Anna, if you'd like to say a few words, but I'd say just thank you very much, James, and all of the commission.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you so much, Alan. And whether it was Jerry and your story time with Jerry during ups and downs of the first wave of up and down economically, and you've seen certainly two of the most productive and two of the most challenging time periods in this county, and have been there and stayed positive through this, and done such a great job. I look at the media content even from just 5 years ago to now, and it speaks to just this consistent effort to improve things here. And we're certainly going to miss you. You've got big shoes to fill, and Anna, we're certainly looking forward to getting to know you and in hearing your story as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Alan, and thank you, commissioners. I'm super excited to be here and to have been given this opportunity to put on yet another hat. I've been working in this region over the past 15 years. I was the director of communications for the entire Loudoun County government for a little while, and then jumped into Fairfax County Department of Transportation. So I have a lot of experience in the regional collaboration, and really want to take what Alan has built over the last 23 years and do justice to those efforts, and hopefully move forward into the next chapter after we close this pandemic, hopefully put it behind us. So I'm excited to work with you and the FCEDA team, especially on the talent initiative. We've talked about it a lot today, and just I'm looking forward to supporting you, and like Alan said, take us to the next level, hopefully. So I appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you guys.
Well, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. All right. Executive Vice President Imes, do you have any final pieces post Alan?
That concludes our report. I do want to say that it's been phenomenal to watch Alan and Anna through this transition over the past 2 weeks. It really is going to be seamless. They exchanged so much information and built so many new relationships in the organization that I'm excited to take this next step with them.
Awesome. Yeah.
Back to you.
Well, team, this will be the shortest meeting we've had in a long time, and I will be letting you reclaim your time. Thanks, everyone. Certainly, thanks again, Alan. And I'd add, please keep Victor in your thoughts and prayers, his family, through this time. I think. Let's see. I'm going to turn it over to Alan for you to take us home.
Sure. Thank you. And I assume you've all voted to adjourn by acclamation. Yes.
We will do that. That's true. I did leave that off. I'll call a vote to adjourn. We'll do it through affirmation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Over to you, Alan.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair Quigley. Yes, this concludes the April meeting.